In the headlines, 5 northern governors, APC leaders endorse Tinubu for second term. North Central Chairman Bak Abure condemned Oti's action in Labour Party crisis. Kano shut 8 entertainment centers. On the foreign scene, 2 dead, 2 others missing in Australia floods. Hello and welcome to Trust News Updates. My name is Idris Bature. Now, ahead of the 2027 presidential election, leaders of the ruling All Progressives Congress APC from the North Central have endorsed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for re-election. The decision was part of resolutions reached on Wednesday night in Abuja, where 5 governors on the party from the geopolitical zone met with other APC leaders from the zone. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, moved the motion for the endorsement of the President for re-election in 2027. Reading the communique, the Nasarawa State Governor, Engineer Abdullahi Sule, said they have examined the current trajectory of national governance and noted that the courage, foresight, and tenacity with which President Bola Tinubu has steered the ship of state amidst daunting challenges, hence unanimous vote of confidence on his administration. Now, former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai on Thursday dropped a political bombshell, revealing ongoing efforts to build a coalition aimed at unseating President Bola Tinubu. Speaking at the Ariwa Tech Fest in Katsina, El-Rufai said the alliance seeks to send Tinubu back to Lagos, but noted that Communications Minister Bosun Tijani will be retained in any new government, praising his performance.
Our entire team came to Katsina yesterday, not only to work with the Katsina State government to carry out last-minute checks for preparation of this event, but they had to come without me. Because yesterday at 8 p.m. there was a very important meeting of the coalition we are putting together to ensure that President Tinubu goes back to Lagos, though we still keep Bosun Tijani. Alright, we still keep the minister because he's doing good work. Okay, but I'll come to that. So I had to attend that meeting at 8 p.m. and the Katsina airport does not operate after 8 p.m. so I couldn't come until this morning. We are booked to travel on Rano Air to arrive here about 9:30. Rano just cancelled. I think he must have been advised by the sitting government to cancel the flight. So I had 2 choices, either to drive and arrive at 4 p.m.
Now, the state chairman of the Labour Party in the North Central geopolitical zone of the country have vowed to continue to give maximum support to the national chairman of the party, Julius Abure, in spite of the numerous political challenges he is currently facing. The LP chairman also condemned the recent actions of the party's 2023 presidential candidate, Peter Obi, and the governor of Abia State, Alex Oti, who they accuse of trying to cause confusion in the party for selfish reasons. The Nasarawa State chairman of the Labour Party, Alexander Ombugu, who spoke for the North Central chairman, disclosed this while speaking with journalists on Wednesday in Lafia, the state capital. According to him, Abure was duly elected during the March 2024 Nnewi National Convention of the party, and he therefore will continue to get the full support of the North Central chairman until the expiration of his tenure. He further revealed that the forum of LP chairmen in the zone, comprising Abuja, Nasarawa, Benue, Niger, Kogi, Kwara and Plateau State, had recently paid a solidarity visit to Abure in Abuja to assure him of their continuous support despite his travails, while emphasizing that there is currently no faction in the Labour Party, as it is being rumored. Ombugu also assured the National Working Committee of the party that the North Central chairman will continue to stand with the party both in good and challenging times. Now, the Kano State Film and Video Censorship Board has revoked the operational licenses of 8 gala entertainment centers across the state. The affected centers have been banned indefinitely as part of a broader effort to uphold Kano's cultural and religious and moral values. The Executive Secretary of the board, Abel Mustafa, announced development on Wednesday in a statement. This, he said, was a move to curb unwholesome practices in the entertainment sector. He emphasized that the decision was taken to sanitize the entertainment industry and ensure strict adherence to societal norms. According to the report, the targeted centers allegedly engage in activities deemed contrary to public morality, including hosting late-night events, showcasing vulgar content, and operating without proper regulatory approvals. The crackdown follows closely on the heels of the board's suspension of several Hausa drama series on YouTube and local TV stations over allegations of indecent content and lack of proper censorship clearance. Now, youth in Benue State are demanding the reformation of the Nigerian police in order to put an end to brutality and arbitrary killing of citizens. On Wednesday, many hit the streets of Makurdi in a peaceful protest against the recent killing of a 23-year-old girl, Emanuela Ahenjir, by men of the Nigerian Police Benue Command. Our Benue correspondent witnessed the protest and sent in these reports.
The recent killing of a 200-level student of the Federal University of Wukari in Taraba State, Ms. Emanuela Ahenji, by men of the Nigerian police has continued to raise concern among citizens. In Makurdi, the Benue State capital, some youth activists have taken to the streets to demand for justice for the young Emanuela, carrying placards with inscriptions such as "Justice for Ahenji," "End police brutality," "Benue says enough," and "Our lives matter." The protesters insist their voices must be heard. According to the leader of the group, they are out on a non-violent assembly, devoid of politics and with no intention to destabilize the state, instead to call for justice for one of them.
In as much as people's minds were still bleeding, men of the police still were extorting people yesterday at Havila. A joint called Havila. Yes. And Villa, so they extorted some boys, said 10,000 naira, other guy 20,000 naira. For me yesterday. For crying out loud. There are a lot of things I want to say about the police. Formations of Nigerian police within Benue should be changed. We have been saying it. Police are known to be protecting lives and property, but now police are extorting people.
During the protest, many record gory incidents of altercations with men of the Nigerian police, which all painted a negative picture of the force.
The day before yesterday, I paid about 20,000. I just went to go and watch ball. I went to watch ball at Casavida high level. On my way coming back, the now stop us. Say, match ended around 10:15 p.m. The now stop us by the roadside. I was returning, say that before we go, they seized my phone. Say before we kill, I have to go. I even have to go and call my friend. I was not even having money on my. I have to call my friend to send me money. They have been collecting money from us always.
Please, we need answers. Oh, I have been a victim of this same circumstance. I lost my cousin into the cold hand of police. He was dragged right into the bush and he was shot. And before he was shot, his friend ran away with the statement of, "We are going to kill you here and nobody will see you." And yes, my cousin was killed.
Meanwhile, the Benue State government is assuring of partnership with the Nigerian police, not only to provide justice for Emanuela, but to secure lives and property of citizens.
Every life matters. And so what happened is condemnable, is unaccepted, and that is why I want to join my voice with your voice to condemn what happened. So you came for Emanuela, but I'm hearing other things. Things like extortion from Yahoo, things like harassing people as courtists and all of that. This is also noted, and I've taken note of that as well.
Recall that the late Emanuela Ahenji was shot dead around Wurukum roundabout in Makurdi early hours of Saturday, May 17, 2025, on her way from a night party.
Now, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike, has defended the FCT's proposed 1.78 trillion naira 2025 statutory budget before the House of Representatives and the Senate committees on the FCT. In separate presentations, the FCT minister highlighted that a significant 72.30% of the total proposed budget, amounting to 1.2 trillion, was earmarked for capital expenditure, while the remaining 27.70%, totaling 4.9 billion, was for recurrent expenditure. A detailed overview of the capital budget estimate presented by the Master revealed the allocations of 80 billion naira for Sukuk loan project, 25 billion naira for the Abuja light rail project, 15 billion naira for Abuja greater water supply, and 250 billion naira from commercial loans to complete ongoing capital projects in the FCT and satellite towns. Now worried by the renewed attacks by Boko Haram fighters in communities in the northeast, the Senate has called on the federal government to establish a military base in Hon local government area of Adamawa State. The Senate on Wednesday in plenary also called on the National Emergency Management Agency NEMA to provide relief materials to all those affected by the recurring attacks of the insurgents. The reports.
These resolutions were reached after a debate on a motion sponsored by the senator representing Adamawa Central, Aminu Abbas, and his colleagues from the Northeast. In his lead debate, Senator Abbas decried the renewed attacks in communities in Adamawa State, saying the insurgents in the last few weeks have been on a killing spree and making the localities inhabitable.
Worried that the unfortunate activities of Boko Haram affect the economic activities of the affected areas, and most of the local government now reside within the local headquarters. By extension, the whole region and the country at large, people in the affected areas no longer go to farms and normal trading activity.
The main reason why there is this resurgence is when we are able to achieve relative peace in the northeast, and as a result of the avalanche of banditry and other security concerns across the nooks and crannies of the country, the Nigerian military is overstretched. And most of the equipment and personnel were redeployed to the northwest, where we have the problem of banditry and what have you. So the Boko Haram now took advantage of the vacuum created as a result of redeployment.
After the debate, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, expressed worry over the country's porous borders, which makes it easy for the insurgents to gain access, infiltrate, and then attack innocent Nigerians.
At any time the fight abates and they think that the military has relaxed, then they will catch them unawares by sporadic attacks. And when they are unprepared, they end up losing lives and properties. Our borders are very porous. So even when they escape from Nigeria, because some of them are not from Nigeria, they still find their way in.
He also noted that the situation is so bad that some communities in the zone have resorted to paying allegiance to the terrorists for their safety.
Now, the House of Representatives is pushing for solutions to major national concerns ranging from infrastructure delays to welfare payment. At Wednesday plenary, the House debated on issues like the Barrow Port, driver's licenses, identity law, as well as palliatives. The report.
In a bid to operationalize the long-abandoned Barrow Inland Port, the House resolved to convene a national stakeholders conference. More than a decade after its completion, the Barrow Inland Port remains idle, locked in a cycle of delays, bureaucratic bottlenecks, and lack of access roads and connecting rail lines. Despite its potential to ease cargo movement and boost trade in Nigeria's north-central region, the port has not been fully operational, largely due to poor interagency coordination and abundant support infrastructure. The motion, co-sponsored by Representatives Idris Wase and 10 others, aims to produce a clear policy roadmap for the inland port's activation.
Concerned that despite the completion of the Barrow physical infrastructure, development of basic equipment, and its commissioning in 2019 under the administration of the past administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, the port remains non-operational due to infrastructure and logistical challenges, including poor access roads, railway connectivity, and the absence of a comprehensive operational framework.
Also under scrutiny is the Federal Road Safety Commission. Lawmakers are demanding full disclosure of revenue from the issuance of driver's licenses.
Further aware that the Joint Tax Board reviewed the fees payable for a 5-year and 3 years driver's license to 21,000 naira and 15,000 naira respectively for a motor vehicle, 11,000 and 7,000 respectively for a motorcycle or tricycle since November 1, 2024. Observes that the Federal Road Safety Commission is alleged to use its information processing center for warehousing data for driver's licenses.
Wednesday's plenary's debate also touched on the management of national identity records. The House considered a report recommending the repeal of the 2007 NIMC Act and the creation of a more comprehensive identity database system. Meanwhile, concerns over the delayed disbursement of 32,000 monthly palliatives to pensioners dominated part of the plenary session. The House also resolved to investigate the non-payment, which affects thousands of retired citizens nationwide.
The House therefore resolves to urge the Federal Ministries of Finance and Humanitarian and Poverty Reduction, the Accountant General, the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate, PTAD, and other relevant agencies to immediately implement all approved pension increments without any further delay.
Attention was also given to stranded Nigerians in Saudi Arabia, with Representative Muhammad Shehu calling for dialogue with the executive on granting possible amnesty to those affected.
Concerned that the executive arm, through the Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs, have not adequately engaged Saudi authorities with a view to securing a window of amnesty for our citizens and or propose workable ways that may see to the evacuation and return of Nigerians back home.
In another motion of urgent public importance, Representative Nnamdi Ezechi decried the poor condition of healthcare infrastructure in the Federal Capital Territory.
Worried that if immediate interventions are not made, the healthcare crisis may escalate to unimaginable levels, undermining the right to healthcare and threatening the well-being of residents in the nation's capital.
With multiple motions adopted, the House has set a stage for inquiries, reforms, and policy shifts across key sectors of governance.
Now, moving on to more stories, the Adamawa state government is actively collaborating with the United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF through the Accelerated Basic Education Program, targeting the over 437,000 out-of-school children across the state. Trust TV's Gibson Suadigo report that the initiative focuses on promoting early childhood education, ECE, and creating inclusive learning pathways for vulnerable children.
With over 50 non-formal learning centers already established, the program deploys a unified curriculum designed to tackle illiteracy and provide street children with critical educational access. A key feature of the intervention is the introduction of the Jolly Phonics method, which has sparked enthusiasm among learners who are now grasping reading and learning skills faster than expected. Across both formal and informal settings, students are acquiring foundational skills with noticeable progress, indicating that the resources and the methodologies deployed are delivering real impact.
Cycle, oval, hat.
In Gombe local government area, the initiative is visibly transforming the educational landscape through a strong partnership between UNICEF and Adamawa State government.
These children were assessed, which we call baseline assessment. After the assessment, then they realized that some children, they're supposed to be at the beginner level, some supposed to be at later level, some supposed to be at paragraph and story level. So the same thing for numeracy. Some will be at 1 digit, 2 digit, arithmetic, subtraction and division.
Volunteer instructors share stories of how the program is opening doors for thousands of previously excluded children, while parents commend the commitment of both UNICEF and the FINTRI-led administration in securing their children's educational future.
With the method of the way we are teaching them, they started picking one after the other. To an extent, there are some girls that they are divorced from their parents, husband's place. They are asking us to come and teach them.
He said, "We are glad that now our children's attention is on studies." This initiative is especially vital for communities recovering from insurgency, which decimated educational infrastructure and displaced thousands of school-age children. The FINTRI administration is working to rebuild and strengthen these foundations. Yahaya Balarabi, Educational Secretary of Gombe Local Government, explains the growing success of the program and significantly reducing the number of out-of-school children in the region.
We have many children roaming about, but with this program, I think we have 62 learning centers. That is for non-formal. And each center, we have about 50, that is pupils in the center. If you can consider the number, you will see we have reduced a reasonable number of pupils roaming about in terms of out-of-school children.
The accelerated basic education centers are now central to the FINTRI administration's education recovery strategy, an effort aimed at pulling Adamawa's youth out of the shadows of neglect and into the classrooms that inspire hope and opportunity. Gibson Soadigo, Trust TV News, Yola.
Now, public health experts in Bauchi State say the increasing overall budgetary allocations to the health sector, including issues like malnutrition, will yield more impact than targeting malnutrition as a standalone line item. Their comments come in the wake of the recent funding boost in the 2025 national budget specifically for malnutrition interventions, particularly in northern Nigeria. In this report, Trust TV's Adamu Imam explores whether the increased revenue allocation can deliver sustainable results in the fight against malnutrition. The report.
The Nigerian government has honored its promise to increase budgetary provisions for nutrition programs, with a significant 33.7% increase in the 2025 budget, from 127.24 billion naira in 2024 to 170.01 billion in 2025, bringing the total approved amount to 243 billion naira. For decades, Nigeria has struggled with high malnutrition rates among the vulnerable population, especially children in low-income settings and conflict zones. Despite the United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF support and guidance to urban and rural communities, some areas still exist that need attention at all levels of governance.
When you increase the budget and you don't follow it up with adequate budget releases, it amounts to nothing. For me, as an expert in public health, I would rather they stick to the old budget provision and make sure that the releases they should increase the percentage in their releases.
There is significant gap in funding. The resources we need and all that are not available. And that is because the funds are not enough. So injecting more money, just like you said, the National Assembly did, is actually a significant step in the right direction.
However, others believe using locally made food can contribute in no small measures to the fight against malnutrition by complementing government's efforts.
And vitamin C, the most essential vitamins that can enhance indigestion and absorption of some nutrients. But once you peel it, you lose some of the fiber, and most likely some of the vitamins. So you end up having carbohydrate. But when you eat it without peeling it, you wash it, you eat it without peeling it. It's highly nutritious and can be transformed in different form of food that we like.
You can still get minor nutrition out of them. There's some percentage of nutrition in crops. Fruit crops, I mean fruit crops. You understand me? But if you want to go direct, meat first, fish, eggs, there's example, butter.
Currently, over 35 million children are trapped in a cycle of malnutrition as the country grapples with food insecurity, fueled by a mix of economic uncertainty. After some progress in 2021, Nigeria still records 31.5% stunting rate among children under 5, surpassing the African regional average of 30.7%. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
And 2 people have died and another 2 are missing after a major flooding. In New South Wales left more than 50,000 people under evacuation warnings. The record rainfall, now declared a natural disaster, was caused by a slow-moving area of low pressure and is greater than any in living memory for some residents, according to the Commissioner of the State Emergency Services. More than 2,000 emergency service workers are attending rescues, including of people who were stranded on rooftop overnight. Separate searches are underway for missing people on the mid-north coast. One woman went missing after the car was trapped in floodwaters. Another man was reported missing after walking near a flooded road and failing to return home. More than 100 schools have been closed because of the floods, which have left thousands of homes and business without power. And with that, we have come to the end of the news update on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and also watch us live on YouTube for more news, programs, and documentaries. My name is Idris Dayebature, thanking you for being with us. Goodbye for now.